demonstration of Wastetrak.ai. Now we're going to go through the application and just show you the 3 different areas of admin and driver and customer portal. We're going to start, first of all, with our admin section. So let's have a look at the admin section. We go to Wastetrak.ai and we can log in. So after we've logged in, we can see our dashboard. Now, I'm using this on a desktop computer, but you can actually use it on a mobile device. So the mobile device would look like this. This is the simulation of an iPhone. So it looks very similar. All the buttons are at the bottom on the iPhone. Let's go back to desktop view just so it's easy to see for the demonstration. And within our dashboard, we have the number of open roads. We have number of loads waiting collection, the ones that have been collected, and any rejected loads. Now, the core of the Wastetrak.ai system is about scanning loads with AI. We take information from the actual photograph and identify items. So if I go in and create a new load, let's assign it to A1 Grab Hire. We can choose one of their sites if we've got any loaded, and we can put some notes in if we want. Let's just start that process. Let's choose a waste image. So let's just say we want to look at this one here. That will then take the image and upload it. We can actually upload multiple images if we want, different angles, but for the purposes of this demonstration, we're just going to use one. So we'll then proceed to analysis. Okay, so the AI has analyzed that image, and it's worked out that 50% is recyclable, 50% isn't. And here it shows a summary of what's actually in the picture. It shows the details of what is there. And it also shows the breakdowns. It reckons there's 6 items or 6 types of items. I got furniture, wooden panels, household items, cardboard boxes, plant pots, and ceramic sink. Now in there, it tries to work out what the percentage of that is. And it also has a recovery potential. Now, if we'd uploaded an image with something like asbestos in there, it would automatically flag it as hazardous. Even paint pots and things like that, cans of paint, they also flag as hazardous for recycling and disposal. Same for batteries. So as we go through, we can see our uploaded image and our activity log. Now, there's not really much to do at this point because our image has just been scanned. But what we can do as a admin person is assign that to a customer for a quote. So we can send the quote to a customer. So let's say we're going to charge £125 to have that collected. We can enter a message to the customer, which is optional. Send that quote to the customer. That has now been sent. The customer will receive an email with that quote on. They can either log into the portal, which we'll show you how to use the customer portal section, and accept that quote, or they can accept it via email. When that comes back in, it will come into the customer request area where we can go in and see a report of what the customer has accepted or not. And then what we can do is if we just go back to that mode again, we can then assign that to a driver. So we'll assume that they've accepted the quote. It will tell us on screen when it's been accepted, but we'll just skip that stage at the minute, and we'll assign this to Fred Digby. We'll assign it to Fred today, and he's going to be collected between 3 and 4 o'clock. We're going to add some notes for Fred as well, like call when you arrive, and we can assign that job to the driver. Okay. Now it's waiting collection. So that job is now in our load status as waiting collection. It's got actually a quote pending and is waiting collection because we just jumped a step there. Well, that will go in, and we can filter any of our loads by open, sent, quoted, waiting collection, arrived at destination, disposed, invoiced, and rejected. So within there, we can see that within the driver's jobs, here's all the things they've got to do today. You can see which ones have been collected, which ones have been delivered, and all the little modes we've got. So within the customer response section, this is where the customers get back to us, or if the customer actually sends us a scan of the image. So what we can do, which I'll show you how to do in a second, is to assign the customer a magic link. So we send them a link via email or via WhatsApp or SMS. They click that link, and on any device, they can actually go in and actually log in and actually record the image of their waste by just taking a picture of it, and it comes straight through to the admin team, who can then pick up on that and actually give them a quote or arrange for it to be collected. So we go into one of our customers. Here we have our customers' details. We can have see all their recent loads. This is just a test site, so these aren't real people. But what we can do is we can go in and actually look at our contacts, edit our contacts, or we can create a login for our access for our contacts. We can create them a full access login, so they can log in using the app, and they can log in using any desktop PC. If they're a frequent user, that's great. If they're just a one-off customer that sends the odd bit of waste to us, then we can have a matching link which expires every 30 days. So we can either send that via email, or we can copy and paste it. Okay. So if I go into now as a customer, so if I log out, okay, so all I've done now is pasted that link into a browser window, and now we are logged in as John Moore from A Weatherhead, which is the contact. So that can be sent via SMS, via email, via WhatsApp. Now, this site also works in mobile view as well. So if they were using this on a phone, they could see it this way. So if they were on their phone, they open this image, this link to the upload an image, there you would see their site automatically selected. They can see their collection sites, which we put in, and they can add some notes. They can go in and select some images there as well. We select our image, so let's say it's this one here. That will upload the image as our audit image. We can add some notes about it if we need to. Press view analysis, and that will then, the AI will go off and actually do its job to work out what's actually happening with that image and all the details within it. Okay, now that waste has been analyzed, it recognizes the fact that it's got a few items in there: cardboard boxes, plastic, textiles, metal frames, and that information has gone through to the site and their long-range collection. Now, if we look onto our homepage here, there are currently no quotes pending, but if there was a quote available, then that would pop up and we can accept that. We can also look at the history of our previous loads. CVs are all under review that we set to test sites. We've sent a few of these in. We can go in and actually... Okay, so if we just quickly jumped from the mobile view back into the desktop view, we actually have an extra button now. We have a downloads area, and we find one that's arrived at our destination. So, for example, that's 1260. We always get a compliance report. So we get a compliance report for the company, collection, the driver's details, which would usually filled in, but with this being a test, it's not put those in. There's no invoice amount because, again, it's a test, but we would actually have a form transfer log. It would break down the weight and the details within the actual image and all the different EWC codes. It has a full audit trail of what's happened to it, of where it went along the way. And then we also have an image of the waste as well. So every collection has a document or several documents. We're going to add on waste transfer notes as well in there for the customer to view. Okay, we'd come out of our application now. We're going to go in as a driver. So a driver would log in, and they would use this as on a phone or a tablet or some sort of mobile device, usually. And they would log in, and they would see a screen that looks like this. This is the desktop view, but if I go over to mobile view, this is a view that would look like on a phone. So they would see, welcome back, Fred. You've got a job to pick up today. And all the other pending jobs. They can look at all their job lists, pending, complete, etc. They can actually upload waste as well. So if they collecting in their vehicle and the customer wants them to pick up something extra while they're there, they can do that. So let's go back and we'll actually pick up that job that we set up earlier in the admin area. So we can go in, we can do the job. So we can go in and we can see that it's for A1 grab hire. Dilly took a vehicle number, progress in status, and call Bob when you arrive, which was the notes from dispatcher. Continue the job. We're going to say we're definitely in that vehicle. We can upload additional images as planned who on. So before and after, or unloaded and unloaded image on the truck if we need to. We're going to continue at this point. And The estimated weight here is 120 kilograms, but actually, no, it's not. It's more like about 60, the driver thinks. We can actually put an actual weight in when we get back to base on the destination. It's just an estimated at this point. So as we go through, we can get a signature. I can then sign on the screen. The customer will do that. And that customer was Gully Ticker. And then we do a complete job. That job's complete. The driver can then go on to do different jobs. So if they've got a full load now, they can go back to base and they can overload that. So they can see all their jobs within here. So they can see completed. There it is, collected. It now needs to arrive at destination. So what we can do at this point is the driver can then drive to the destination and then click on the completed job. Or the yard staff, the admin staff can actually go in and do it at their end. But I'm going to do it on here while log in, so we can go in. I must say we've now got there. Here's all the details. We can mark arrived at destination. Okay, so we need to confirm the arrived at destination. It picks up our own location automatically. If for some reason the location is turned off, you can enter your postcode and it will pick up a location from there. When you enter the tar weight of the load, so once it's been weighed as it's come in, you can enter the information here. Again, the office can do this if it's not available at this point in time, but it ends up, let's, for example, say it was 85 kilograms. We can confirm it. That will go through, and that's now complete. And the customer will be notified that the load has been collected and has been delivered. And they will get all their documents that need to go with that load for compliance purposes, and they can download them at any time, and they'll have them stored within the system as long as they're on there, or 5 years. Okay. Now the jobs are for the driver. They can look at those. They can also load waste, or they can have a look at messages. There's currently no messages available, but if any messages came through from staff, they would pop up here. So if we log out and we go back in as a staff member, within here, we can see that now our driver's jobs, we can see what's been collected. This one's been delivered. We can see all the details here. We can see the full transfer log of when it's been collected and what's happened. And we can also see the activity log. Okay. So if I look at one that I've looked at previously, this one, I can see, the reason why I'm showing this one is because this one has a full journey on it from collection to end. It's really hard to do when you start a computer demo in it because obviously you can't see the actual movement. So what this one actually has a distance of 4 miles between it. So it shows you the route that were taken in blue, and as the crow flies, the actual distance between the 2 points in the green. So you can zoom in and see that. Okay, that shows you the distance. And that, again, will be put onto the compliance report. So you can see here that it was Fred again in this vehicle. Its payload capacity, who it was for. We can see that the decimation journey, all the actual details of the load, and of course the image as well. Okay. Just looking at the admin area as well, we also have several reports. We can look at all our different loads, now summaries. We can actually go through and look at our customers and see how much they spend. We can also look at our financial data for how much we've made. We can have a look at our analysis for different areas of composition. We can go into those. But we can also go into a help area here where we have user manuals. We can set up API connections. We can, for different third-party systems to connect to us. When you set up additional users, we can create extra drivers and other different people. We can also set up vehicles, so we can go in and add these vehicles. We can edit those, add those. We can look up on VRN lookups to make sure that the tax MLRT and everything is up to date, and the license and everything hasn't expired. We can save those vehicle details, add new vehicles. We can also link to things like, for example, this one has smart waste integration turned on. So smart waste is another system we can link to and pass our data through. So we can synchronize companies, projects, waste carriers, and destinations. We can then pass the details straight through. Okay. So that concludes our quick tour of the Wastetrak system. If you would like a full demo of what it can do and how it can work for you, please give us a call and we can sort something out. Thank you for your time.